Wow, that's weird. I don't like that. Anyway, hello, welcome back to a... Please tell me I did the thing correctly? I don't know. Hopefully it's updated now. It's fine. It's fine. It's not gonna show up like that later, saying it's not what it is. Anyway, Vampire Masquerade, Shadows in New York. A couple things before we start. I hurt my back. I'm in a little amount of pain. I'm gonna try and keep my, grunts of agony, to a bare minimum, but if you ever just hear me tripping up on words, that probably is because of it. I've taken some painkillers, but it's still a little painful. I don't know how far we are in this game. We are in night 8, so I don't know how much we've got going on, but we'll carry on. I honestly forgot where we were in the plot. Anyway, do you need me for something else? No, not really. Better take a hike before the guy you just you've just called shows up. I can't guarantee he won't make you hurt. Will do. He puts down his head and obediently trots down the street. I might have messed with his head a little bit too much using my wildly kindred charms, but I needed to tell Kaiser where I wanted to meet quite clearly multiple times. I've given him the kiss as thanks at least, but I told the big man I won't be here all night and that he'd better hurry up, so I want to be ready for where he comes up. Less than 15 minutes later, a menacing look. Oh yeah, we're confronting the Kaiser about this, aren't we? Menacing black limbo takes a fast, sharp turn onto the street and stops right in front of me. Suddenly, something like an acid flash hits me. I know this limo. I've seen it all around over the past few days, but I've never thought it might have been tailing me. Still, it must have. Looks like I'm finally about to get some answers. The doors open and a raspy voice comes from inside. Get the fuck in, Shawski. I smile and accept the invitation. There he is, Kaiser, the king of New York's information highway, surrounded by screens, speakers, and newfangled technological gizmos of all kinds. First impressions. He's a repulsive son of a bitch. D'Angelo was a sewer rat, and he might have had similar physical disadvantages, but at least he was wholly endearing. This guy, there's no room for any kind of sentimentality. He's inhumanly cold, and I get the feeling he's been like that for ages. You're getting on my nerves, little lady, and I'm far from the only one. I can sense he meant all of this to be threatening. Instead, I'm elatic. After a week of running around like a headless chicken, unsure if I was going anyway, finally I get a compliment. If there's one thing I've learned back in Lodestar, it was that you only know you're doing a good job correctly when someone powerful gets visibly mad. Oh, Julie's great. I haven't said that enough. I have no idea what you mean. No need to play dumb, especially considering you're considering you're natural. Valhalla, the double spiral, Versailles, Torksten. How does it feel to have made enemies absolutely everywhere? He scoffs at me with pure contempt. Listen, I will speak as plainly as humanly possible to get this through your little head, since it's obvious you're not willing to read the obvious signals. You were hired for one thing, and one thing only, little lady, to suck at your job, and you couldn't even do that correctly. People keep stopping my limo this week, telling me, Kaiser, dear Kaiser, we keep trying to make her understand how hopeless she is, but she won't get a clue. She doesn't have any evidence, she doesn't have any testimony, but she still goes around knocking on everyone's doors causing a disturbance. It's such a fucking headache. Usually, I try to be a jovial host, so I cheer them up. She's not that much of a dunce, I say. She's making mountains out of molehills. Molehills make herself seem useful, I say. She's about to stop. But you, in your infinite intimacy, decided to prove me wrong in the most spectacular fashion by knocking on my very own door, forcing my hand, threatening me even. Are you autistic or something? Sorry, are you autistic or something, huh? Can't read basic fucking social cues? Stop for 1 second and get a clue of yourself. Kuabana. Whoever even fucking wants to solve anything, let alone this case. I will say this game. Let me just know something about my. Can I Okay, cool. So I just noticed my animated wallpaper was still playing. Just one thing I will criticize this game for doing: all of the villains are either racist, ableist, or just foul-mouthed. And I like Kaiser's a villain, and he's an antagonist in both the games. And I want to see his downfall. I can't lie, but like I just noticed it's something they do. Like the guy who was in charge, the Baron Kalain, was just straight up racist. Kaiser's just very foul-mouthed and actually ableist. And I get it, if you have low humanity, that's probably gonna manifest in some ways. But you know, I don't. It's a thing. It's a thing which you can either consider lazy or characterizing. I will not get into the writing choices of that. See, this is a delicate system set in place. Usually it's flawless, but ever since you started tinkering with it, it's been having these inferent malfunctions, and it's been driving people. Are you done? A weird, disgusting sound, something between a gargle and a bark, escapes his throat. Unbelievable. All I'm hearing is that you're in possession of some kind of information that might help me solve the puzzle I was presented with. If that's the case, I'm going to ask you to share it. I swear, you're absolutely irredeemable. You fucking garbage dump of a woman. How do I get through all this rubbish in your head to drive my point in? Don't you know who I am? You're the one who had Carline's place wired. I know who you are. You're one of the people who had Carline's place wired, which makes you a possible sort of witness of sorts, or even a suspect. Pfft, for Christ's sakes, woman, get real. Even if your accusation was correct, then who, pray tell, who would report them to? Do you even know what kind of people I answer to? No? Care to inquire us? Is that really what you want? You want to know who pulls the strings. Give me 10 minutes and I can arrange a meeting. But this is your last chance to turn back. If you don't, I can tell you now, you're going to be sorry. The Big Kahuna, finally. Now we're talking. The Big Kahuna. So that's your final answer, huh? Absolutely. God, I love Julie at times. Unbelievable. He takes out his phone and begins furiously typing. I relax and receive, finally getting somewhere. It might be dangerous, yeah, but at least I can finally get a clue on what's going on. I'm just saying, this is a point of no return. My boss doesn't fuck around. Best case, you're going to beg him to take you in. Whatever, he keeps grumbling under his breath, but I'm not even listening. I just watch the streets go by. Until out of the blue, I experience a strong sense of foreboding. Well, hello, little ghosty. I first spotted in the corner of my eye. She's hovering next to Kaiser, with an expression that's possible to turn. When she speaks, her voice is machine-like, yet otherworldly. Fine. We're 5 minutes away. Get the boys ready to give Mel Gibson to give her a Mel Gibson special. The moment she puts away his phone, the silhouette disappears. We're 5 minutes away. Best start figuring out how you're gonna prove yourself useful to the honcho. There's no honcho. My fucking god, of course, this motherfucker's setting me up. I need to get out of here now. I do the first thing that comes to mind. I grab the door handle and pull. He notices and scrambles to struggle to grab me. Hold up, you stupid fucking... The glass breaking. Sounds loud thuds of something heavy hitting the asphalt. Tires screeching. I think he's grabbed me. I think he's trying to pull me back. When I think we fell out of the limo, I think his body's cushioning my fall, but I'm struggling to process what's going on. It's like I'm blanking out. When I come to, he's already attempting to get up, crushed under his breath. The limo stopped a little further in, but whoever's driving it is not coming out. Fucking, when he stands up, he'll be out for vengeance. He's an old vampire who knows how strong he is. I need something that will give me an advantage. The pepper spray, of course. Probably won't affect it as much as a living person, but it's still worth a try. I lean towards our asshole. Disarm the device, aim it towards his eyes, and unload an entire cask. Ah! It worked. It actually worked. I keep up the offensive and punch and kick him, throw him to the ground. I pummel him, I smash his head to the curb. I struggle to harm him in any way that I can, like I'm a frightened animal. I don't know how long it lasts, maybe a minute, maybe eternity. The driver steps out of the limo to help his boss, but once he sees what I'm doing, he runs away in panic. Feels good. Feels absolutely horrible. Once I'm done, I sit on the curb and scream my lungs out to avoid crying. Then I look at him. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh, that is satisfying. Oh my god. Screw you guys. Screw you for saying on my previous character. Screw you for everything you've done. He seems shocked, barely hanging on. I know what I've done was extremely stupid. I did hear he's one of the most influential cities and figures in the city, but he's probably why he never expected to get his ass whooped, especially by someone like me. When he speaks again, his voice is pathetic, surprisingly close to a whimper. You'll pay. You'll fucking pay. You lost, misled, abandoned property of a woman. He's unwell, talking nonsense. I approach him again. You wanted to have me whacked. What do you think, I'm stupid? You needed to be taught a lesson. Well, would you look at who ended up teaching you? Now talk. Tell me everything you know about Callion's final death. All of it. Go to hell. You can fuck me up however badly you want. I'm still not going to tell you shit. You try anything, there will be consequences. There will be retribution. My mouth is shut. He might be the last chance to solve his case, but if I don't force him to talk, he won't. There's a burgeoning thought in my mind, but it scares even me. Do I dare push him over the edge? Make him suffer until he squeaks? Okay, this is a trait-given thing, isn't it? I'll do whatever necessary. Load to there, glass half empty. Not into a bad cup stick. Must use the best policy. Damn, okay. Asaya did give us one advice. We are a monster. Let's go with it. Tray updated. Let's see what we got. Then's justify the means, duh. Well, I'm sure you open mouth if I do this. I put his chin against the curb. Wait, what? And kick with all my strength. It's a compound fracture. I barely managed to suppress my gag reflex. It feels like I'm disassociating. You fucking psycho. You fucking psychotic bitch. You're actually weeping like a child. It's a total shatters the tough image he was trying to project earlier. Like, this is the first time anyone has used physical violence against him. What if it is? You either start talking or the other leg goes, then the hands, then I get creative. I tried to collect myself and put his other leg against the curb. I'll talk. I'll fucking talk. The kick connects. This is a light one, a sadistic feint. It makes me manage to get a pathetic whimper out of him. Then talk. But this had better be good. He looks at me with pure fury, then begins to speak with his clenched teeth. You want to know who was in Callion's office before he died, little lady? Everyone. Fucking everyone and their mother was there. Vendergand, Alising, Arturo, and Penhard became a douche motherfucker talk and his sidekick, all of them. Callion thought that the only way out was to pit them all against each other, or to ally with every single one of them. Little did he know, it was all in their best interest for him just to fucking die. That's good. That's great. But who killed him? I have no fucking idea. That won't do. Once again, I put his leg discourse position. In response, he starts howling maniacally. You fucking sadist! You monster woman! I really have no idea. Who kept complaining about me? Who is responsible for getting rid of the evidence? Everyone did. Goddamn Callien had dirt on everyone and antagonized everyone. So it took everyone to fucking bring him down. All the evidence is gone. Every theory is equally true. No one of it is. Don't you see? Everyone is complicit. Nobody is. Why the fuck do you think Sophie Langley is no longer around? Why is Talk no longer pretending to be a revolutionary? Why the free agents involved? Why are they shutting you up tomorrow? Shutting me up? Who? You can't connect with dots, you dumb whore. Why you? A fucking, oh my god. Yeah, okay, it's the thing that I was writing. Someone's about to get Julie. I look back over my shoulder and see Quidar. Bloody hell, what's wrong with you? Quidar, you're out of control. This is why I didn't want you to get involved. I had a hunch. A hunch that the moment you get a whiff of true power, all brakes will be off. You're talking nonsense. You're out of your damn mind. I should have you in for a potential masquerade breach. Let me explain myself. This ugly fucker tried to have me beaten, maybe even killed. Don't you care about that? I have no idea, Sheriff. No idea. She's dangerous, psychotic. Shut the fuck up. I can't control myself. I kick him where I know it will hurt him the most. My leg! Stop this right now, you goddamn idiot. I freeze in place. I've never heard him use that tone with me. I'll take care of you in a moment in my car, Kaiser. Hold on. I'm not done questioning him yet. Look, it looks like there's a major conspiracy too. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, and you're going to be glad I leave it at that. If you do that, I'm going to assume you're complicit. That's worth 2 strikes in my book. You don't want to risk a third. So that's that. Tell me that was all my footwork. Tell me, what was all my footwork even for? We'll be seeing each other, little lady. Can you hear this? Go home, Julie. But, go home. Fine, I will. But before I do, I take a quick peep at Kaiser's limo, abandoned a little further down the road. I skip the church visit tonight. I want more time to finish the report. Who knows, it might be my final one. I want to spend time with Dakota. Yeah, just forget about the rest of the world. A lot happened tonight, but I can still manage to be at our apartment at an hour earlier than usual. She should be glad. I sneak into the apartment silently as possible and try and surprise her. When I reach the bathroom, I see something unexpected. It hits me like a ton of bricks. I can't begin. I can't properly pass the sight. But when I finally understand what I'm looking at, I cause a wave of terror and disgust to swell up in my chest. What the fuck? She's shocked to see me. Doesn't know what to do. She's probably a deer in headlights or a schoolgirl probably trying to hide her misdeeds from her teacher. You're early. Yeah, I am. Those are my clothes, Dakota. These are my cigarettes. That's my jewelry on the table. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, God almighty, I thought I was just being necrotic whenever I noticed something dreadfully familiar in you. I can explain. Please do explain. A good 10 seconds of awkward silence pass. I can see her spending an eternity in her head. This isn't what it looks like. Oh my god, it's exactly what it looks like. I just can't come out and say it. Dakota, are you single white femaling me? I don't get that. It makes sense now. No, come on, no. I thought I was the leech in this relationship. We watched that movie together. We made fun of Jennifer, Jason lie together. Roommates talking and imitating her own roommate. Ha! What a concept, right? But it's being fed on a far more sinister way without even knowing it. Don't be silly. Silly. I've never been this serious with you. So whenever she put on my makeup, whenever I used her as a mirror, she always was hyping me up because she wanted to live vicarious through me. So many little things make sense in retrospect. The little ways that you moderate your speech after me. The weird ways your taste is always compatible. Some of your art feels so familiar. None of it would have triggered my alarms by itself, but yet she was as humanly embarrassed as possible. Julie, listen, don't fucking touch me. I can barely think of anything more repulsive than being put on a pedestal like this. It's like the other person is begging me to perceive them as something worse, if not outright subhuman. Don't be like this, just don't, this probably would be infinitely more palatable if you ever talk to me like a person here, and not like, I don't know, a fucking mummy. You know what? Fuck you. I've been locked in this apartment by myself because of pandemic shit going on. It's fucking me up. I know you've had it hard right now, so I don't want to bother you. Yeah, I was counting you to ask about how I'm feeling, babe. How your work-life balance. Aren't you feeling claustrophobic? Hey, is it just me, or is the drug supply weirdly shrinking too fast? But no, you were too much of a self-centered bitch. You regularly sucked me dry, and it's okay, but at that moment, I entertained the thought of taking something in return. Am I crossing a line? Oh no, I'm a member of a more elite secret society. It's so hard to cope. Dakota, whenever I feel I gracefully decide to visit our apartment, let me do what I enjoy until the pain stops. Fuck you. Fuck you sincerely. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. There's nothing you can do but take. You should have learned that by now, but you won't make, but taking just won't make you happy. You big dumb bitch. Stop, I don't know what to say. I feel disgusted, both with her and myself. Just stop. Dakota breaks down crying, grabs a jacket and purse and runs out of the apartment. I don't try to stop her. I stand there a short while in silence, and then look at the door. Did she take her keys? I don't know. I don't know if I care. A desire for something else, not for myself, for a way to open a different world, not to get locked back in mine. I collapse onto the soft bed and smell her perfume. I always liked it, but now it just makes me slightly nauseous. I try not to think about Dakota. I think of Kaiser, I think of Kodar, I think of Khaled. No matter what, I sense doom. I feel like I've sealed my fate whenever it may be. Everything fucking sucks. Back to the void, back to the void, back to the void. Don't know what this logo is, I forget. For me, it always starts with an image. An image of which might be vaguely eerie or interesting, but usually not an image that would provoke practically strong feelings by itself. Usually it's a mystery that's much is correct. Pardon me. But that mystery doesn't exist without text, or more significant, a context. Context is everything. One way or another, you need to process what you've been looking at. Maybe that context will be something you've heard or overheard. Maybe, although it's quite rare, pretty special, it will be your very own creative, captivating, complete interpretation. A ghost of an idea. Is this a half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful I will never ever see again? Just a scent of a movie, a fragment of a music video, an animation, or maybe this really is the last thing Khaled ever saw in his own life. Warm sunbeams caressing his skin, turning it to ash in a giant ball of fiery engulfed his body in flames from 93 million miles away. Was he terrified? Was he grateful? There's no will, no suicide note, no nothing. Instead, we can only count on the local historians will write, presumably letting their biases shape the narrative one way or another. What am I looking at here? A horrible, laughable hall of mirrors. A creep whom ever wanted to see, a creep I never ever wanted to see again. A vampire much more despicable than myself. Or maybe someone who loved taking care of me and deserved to be cared for in return. Funny thing, whenever I was high as a kite, mentally lost in a dimension parallel to ours, she was my anchor. Our shared history, my feelings of her were an anchor. Matthew McConaughey returned to a strange daughter from the other side of the cosmos, from beyond the event horizon, guided by nothing but love. Then, whenever I get back to planet Earth for a week or two, I was haunted by memories of that affection. I was the best possible version of myself towards her, but that haunting always refused to transfigure into something real, that gradually took its place where anger, disappointment thoughts, and among them, one thought was always trying to suppress. I need someone who had known how to raise me up spiritually, but all I have is sycophants who always working her ass off to lift me up, but without understanding what I need. It hurts both. Have these words pop in my head hurt me, because they had a ring of truth in them, but also because I knew there must be another narrative, a better narrative. I was just too stupid to find it. A story of my life, a story of my own life. I still have no idea what I think about the sea. I had my best sea in world phase. I had just another playground for wealthy fucks phase, and now I'm in the search for a better description. One day, probably I'll stumble upon it, like a piece of writing or a prestigious TV show scene that will contain just that, and suddenly, I look at the place with new eyes. Or maybe I won't. It's like frustration I had back at Lodestar. All these worlds constantly trailing behind reality, trapping you in a useless mindset instead of bringing enlightenment. Fuck all of those flashy writers whose main concerns furthering their own brand. Douchebags who presented you with a limited, pathetic, distressing reality while they were kings. Fuck them all to hell. We need words that will paint a brighter future for all our eyes. But what if it can't be done without reinterpreting the past first? What if we haven't defined the ills and threats correctly? Once again, my thoughts return to the same visual that has been tormenting me for almost every waking moment of this past week. A senseless demise devoid of context, a crime scene stripped of evidence, an image created by an unknown artist designed to leave you dumbfounded. The investigation is over, all the possibility avenues explored, all of the non-testimonies are in, no concrete evidence found, the play is almost complete, the act is ready to leave the stage. It is what it is. I failed as a detective, though no fault of my own, but again, it is what it is. This case, this scene, this picture never needed an investigator. From what I understand, all the people in charge ever wanted was a talented writer. What if? A ghost of an idea. When I wake up, Dakota's still not here. I don't know how I feel about that, so I just don't. Quidal hasn't left me any messages. Avador, still that mad, huh? We probably appealed to the court to take me off the case, and if half the garbage Kaiser was spouted is correct, he shouldn't have much trouble convincing anyone. I look in the mirror and stare at my warped non-reflection. This place is unsettling. You need a change of scenery, girl. The depressing street of lockdown New York City will do. I think of God. Maybe that's why I half-consciously picked a cathedral as my destination. I think of the silver cross dangling out my neck, an empty signifier. Whenever someone asks me why I wear it, they hear a different story. I think they're these silhouettes that I keep spotting from the corner of my eye. No, I don't even want to imagine what that means. I feel what it means. It makes me nauseous enough. I think of my clan, so closely tied to the Catholic Church. It's a loveless marriage, so to speak. Like, for example, ones between my parents. I think about the great irony of La Sombra's truce with the Holy See. We are the only ones who stay so close to the Lord's light, even though we are certain we will never reach it. Some of us shadows have visions. Visions of comrades who departed the world recently, traveling through some abstract place, one disturbing and astonishing in equal measure. They almost reach whatever afterlife is for our own kind, but then get caught and consumed by dark, monstrous silhouettes. The rumour is our antediluvian wasn't stopped by his final death. He's out there, behind the shadows, taking revenge for our patricide, feeding on Saturn, feeding on us like Saturn, devouring his children. As Dakota would say, it might not be factual, but it's an emotional truth. From joining the cabrilla to panically scrambling for any safe house, it's like our elders are solely motivated by fear. This is the sins of our father catching up with them, and it's a young kindred like me who's given the responsibility to clean up the mess for constant sense of doom looming over the horizon. We don't talk about salvation anymore. We just minimize the impact of damnation. That's no way to live. But then again, maybe that's why it's called an unlife. Shit, it's been nuts. Hello there, lost sheep. I'll have you know, this shepherd is extraordinarily patiently waiting for you. What are you doing here, while the night is young? Out for blood? Well, you're in luck. This place offers body and blood. If missionaries learned their methods from pickup artists, they would be like this guy. I'm not in the mood, you sorry ass bum. Step the fuck away from me, or you're gonna be sorry. Oh my, something troubling you? If so, I can arrange a confession. Or if you're in a hurry, keep in mind, the path of inner turmoil begins with a friendly ear. You got one right here. Kawa Kajab Koja? You want me to fuck you up, don't you? Don't you? Julie, as you should know by now, I interpret this kind of response to preaching the divine as the devil stirring inside. Is that what it is, Julie? The lair, the father of lies, got a hold of your soul? If so, give me a signal, even the smallest one. I'll be the best spotter. Something swells up inside my chest. I recognize the feeling. The handbrake just broke, and it's definitely not on ground level. Fuck, here we go. Listen, I've had enough, alright? Enough. Enough of your sanctimonious attitude. Enough of your brazen lack of basic empathy. Enough of your dumb, ugly fucking mug. Your fucking singularity of stupid, tasteless and cringe. I've met all sorts of horrible shares and assets this week, and somehow none of them got under my skin the way you do, you motherfucker. You're like a Jehovah's Witness going from door to door, except you're always knocking on my fucking skull going, hey, do you know God exists? Have you heard of God exists? Like, hold it right there. When did I ever say that God exists? What? What? I said, what makes you think I believe God exists? Oh, now you're just fucking with me? No, I'm serious. Well, you sound serious. At least I'm actually speechless. I think there's been some sort of silly misunderstanding that desperately needs to be cleared up. I'm all ears. I'm sure so. Sorry for peeking from Mike. I'm actually just enthralled by this now. I hope so, Julie. I feel like you must have ignored half of what I've been saying to you to reach these conclusions. That's very well possible, actually. It's usually like 15 seconds of him talking before I completely zone out. So to avoid any further mix-ups, I'll go back to the beginning and explain my core religious beliefs. Okay, so, I love the Catholic imagery. I cherish the traditions and lore. I adore the practices, the incense of the theology, the messages contained in the Bible. Of course I do. Does that mean I believe that one day I'll see the Big Dad in the sky? Forgive me, Lord, but I don't think so. That doesn't sound very likely, especially for a bloodthirsty creature of the night. So, what is this about? Fun imagery? That's overly simplifying, but yes, I suppose you could say that. Motherfucker, you aren't Catholic. You're just a weirdo cosplayer. Says a non-petitioner who wears a cross. Yeah, but I don't shove it down other people's throats for fun in my spare time. I'm simply trying to share my joys of religion has brought me to my life with others. What joys? Oh, where to start? There's so many. The joy of having plainly understanding rules to follow, the joys of having a structure in your life, the joys of always knowing that you'll find people that share your values. Above all, it's the joys of being an aristocracy, whatever. Surrounding oneself with exquisite, luxurious architecture, beautiful classic music, oriented rituals, formalized our actions and relationships. A pure virtue spreading from the masses. The hierarchies, communions, all serves a great idea than oneself. It's like a democracy or some Camarilla tradition, but not as new. Gosh. So that's it. You saw a pretty painting in the building, was like, hell yeah, I want in, and then just decided that's what they meant to you? Okay, don't get me wrong. It's real faith that brought me to the fold, but eventually I whittled the religious down to its core, to what interested me. Unbelievable. But don't think for a second I was empathetic when I was trying to convert you. You're the embodiment of existential despair surrounding us, the one that people usually try to drown out with drugs, sex, work, Netflix, pick your poison, all of them, temporary copes. Empty yourself, kill your ego, get a routine, join a community, ground your morality in something tangible, start perceiving yourself as part of something greater. All of it's good advice, but codified is an appealing otherworldly aesthetic, one that keeps a beast at bay, one that you're almost fitting into the way you are. That's what you're there to hate. Unbelievable, you're a goddamn lunatic. He looks at the sky. Father, forgive me. They know not what they do. Stop that. Your entire legend is just aesthetics, you fucking loon. And how exactly do I differ from anyone else nowadays in that regard? Stop arguing semantics. No, just stop. Just look at yourself. A privileged burnout who refuses to invest herself in anything. Only started commuting to anything when, for once in your own life, you were forced to politically charge dangerous tasks. Once it's over, you'll be back to a nameless brat. Desire to murder increase. Ever since World War II, we've been watching every person and every deal I care about wither and disappear. That's the source of my pain. That's the reason I am why I am. The source of your pain. A thing that defines you. People have been mean to you. Fuck off. People in third world countries have their heads high while suffering every sort of horror, but you have to completely mentally break down every time you remember you have mummy issues. Wow, classy. Oh, I don't like your high ground here. You're obviously sadist. All I'm saying, everyone has different framework, a different lens to view their suffering through. Yes, and if there's one thing abandoning your humanity should have shown you, is that kind of frameworks are not enough. Petty vendettas, childish romances, pointless power struggles, the dumb gamble that chasing a successful career. Mummy and daddy issues, sure, why not? Pain and pleasure directed everything. Everyone wants something bigger than this. They want to escape from this drudgery. They want, God, I don't know what that word is. A psychedelic, but permanent. They want to stare at God's face, even if he does not exist. And you can show them. Accept that the cross you're wearing into your heart, Julie. Accept it. Creepy fucker. Just accept it. Alright, that'll be enough, Binot. The mood changes in an instant. The sight of Father Lena takes us both back. Father, why are you doing here so early? You two are arguing so loud I had to come out to check. Even if, with all that panic on the TV nowadays, simply walking outside would feel like marching into a war zone. Yeah, I'm sorry. You should be. I was willing to turn a blind eye to your quirks because I believed you had your heart in the right place. Mostly, I'm very disappointed in the way you approach folks in need. Right now, Burns' signal is displaying all the confidence of a scolded teacher's favourite. But I was trying to guide her, to set her on the right path. I know, but now. That's the problem. The sanctity is open. Please head there right now. We need to have a long talk. Get some coffee if you wish. But nuts. He slowly sinks away, looking defeated, deflated, debased. I burn the moment in my retinas, etch it into my soul, kind of hoping I'll never have to see him again, and this is how I remember him. Father Leno watches me closely until he disappears from sight and then turns to me. I feel sorry for him. I keep hoping that he might find some basic empathy through faith, but all that I've done thus far is let him leave you to the end of your tether. Yeah, that's some faith he has. Are you okay with all that bullshit he's spouting? I don't exactly support it, but I don't reject it. It's like attraction and condition. Imperfect representations of you know. One is focused on a relationship with God, the other selfishly focused on personal gain. Both of them work. Yeah, but doesn't this strike you as completely missing the point? A bit, but purely secular takes on Christ's teachings are nothing new. Pascal's wager is a boring example, but have you, by chance, read Bigalog's Master and Martina? Sure, back in Poland, every teen trying to look into intellect online loved repeating that joke about the talking cat who swears he'd never poured vodka for a lady because women deserve pure alcohol. There's a takeaway from that novel, I suppose. There's one takeaway from that novel, I suppose. I read it as a moving description of Christ was not a divine being, stripped of mystical qualities but open for transcendence. Jesus and Satan understood as powerful forces battling within us. Would have to read it again, it's been long. Sounds nice though. I stretch lazily and take another smoke. Leonard watches me closely before he speaks up. Julie. 4 hours from now, there's going to be a meeting in the Elysian. The final celebration of power. Everyone will be there, but they're counting on you not to show up. The good sheriff plans to present the results of the investigation you all said. It's a simple, crude strategy. Might work, but begs to be countered with an outrageous tactic. Take it as you will. The game is about to end. Momentarily, I'm left dumbfounded. All I can muster is quote, eh? Don't ask me. I'm just a messenger. Who relayed the message to you then? A good friend, a cautious friend. Wouldn't be able to tell you more than that if you forced me to. Well, shit. This is a moment that might decide the rest of my days. Would you do it in my place? What would you do in my place, Father? When I was faced with a dilemma that would shape the rest of my life, the world felt too big and scary and impossible to understand. So I simply escaped from my choice into the summary. Yeah, that's a good idea. If that's your idea of good advice, I'm going to have to ask you to shove it. I expect nothing less. Don't you regret what? You're kind of shady, but you don't seem like a bad guy. Still, you have to set people above you are responsible for some horrible things. If our supervisor's actions count as our own sins, then on the face of it, probably half the people in this world are irredeemable. Clever, but not a real answer. And being a low-level grunt for an asshole you find unwholly objectable is no way to live. I don't know, is it? I finish smoke in silence. I have to go. I don't know if and when I'll see each other again, but when it happens, I probably won't be the same old me, of course. But before I leave to scold Burnett, let me say one more thing, yeah? There are difficult times. My parishioners keep calling me. The things people are going through, they might never admit it, but if this keeps up, it will cause a horrifying irreversible damage to the nation. A dreadful darkness is killing us all, little by little, like a powerful evil. It's manifested little by little. And yet, sinful as it may be, I confess to being strangely excited. For a moment, we're seeing the suffocation of normal disappear. This is a time to dream of a new world as possible. Walk these empty streets, Julie. Remember how the city feels right now. Bask in its shadow and uncertainties. After the apocalypse comes the great rebirth. The Amicanotus is waiting for your next report with great curiosity. I give him a nod and I sprint away. Now what I must do, knowing what I must do. Hey Moon, my lonely constant companion. When I moved here for good from, the old country, you're the only closest friend who kept me company. Never felt... Ow, got my back, sorry. Sorry, I just need to take a breath. That pain was kind of sudden. Never felt as right place back then. Never felt in the right place here. Especially now. I'm not alive. Not quite dead. Not that Slavic. Not that American. But maybe it's time I finally carve out some space for myself. It's been a lonely road, hasn't it? Wish me luck. I catch him in front of the Alaho because, of course, he had to be the first person I meet there. No, wait. No. I'm going to be the laughingstock for the entire city if I don't show up to the resolution of my own investigation. How about you demonstrate a modicum of courtesy? Courtesy, girl. I should put you on trial. I can't guarantee I eventually won't. You Kaiser, the Masquerade of this city. Beat him to a pulp like a random goon. He will do anything he can to destroy you from now on. My bet is he'll succeed. Well, whatever will be, will be. From now, at very least, I'd like to show the core. I'm not a baby fledgling who can't see the task she was given to invent. You're making a huge mistake. How did you even learn this meeting was happening in the first place? Maybe I'm not as atrocious an investigator as you thought I was. I never said, but you're showing it. That's not a fair assessment. I wanted to finish this whole mess myself, for your own good. It'd be nice if you asked me what I think next time. I'm actually pissed off he tried to pull this off without me, but I'm not letting it show. Counted on being able to guilt trip him into submission. A deep sigh of resignation proves that my tactics was successful. Fine, but you will stay quiet the whole time. No tricks, ifs, or buts. But of course, this way. We step into the more of the gallery. The celebration of power is almost over. Everyone is back to their usual respective styles, looking weary of each other's company, trapped in their own little worlds. The hall is nearly empty. Quidar is gently strong-arming the last remaining nobodies to leave the premises. Eventually, only me and the select few New York Camarilla VIPs remain. Ah, Mr. Wazowski, barely made it, huh? The asshole that glued on smiles spots me first, and he's just as authentically excused to see me as ever, so he finally showed his face around here. I wasn't sure if I'd join us tonight. Quidar made this meeting sound like a one-man show. The preparations took me a bit longer than I thought they would. I apologize. Are you, by any chance, planning on surprising us with something? Well, if I was planning on something, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you now, would it? Can I have everyone's attentions, please? We're about to begin. Everyone remains in the building and gathers around Quidar. Ah, exciting. Is everyone present? ... Present and accounted for. My prince? Before we begin, let me welcome our unusual guest to our fold. She gestures towards a corner from beneath which emerges a shadow that could have never ever appeared here under normal circumstances. There's a little ghost back there as well. There's a little shade. Name's Talk. I'm the Baron of the Bronx. I was delegated here by my companions on oversight authority. I'm here to observe the results of the investigation. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me stress this one last time. This is one-time occurrence, meant to alleviate the tension of the city, not a symbol of mutual recognition, not in the slightest. I peek at Addison's face to get a feel of how hardline the loyalists might grapple with this argument. His expression betrays no surprise, only a slight discomfort. If he's fine with it, the prince must have been extremely convincing about necessary of tempering a truce, or some Machiavellian tactic she's got ready up her sleeve. Who knows? Of course, we might have inconsolable differences, but there are times we have to temporarily put aside the order to quell unrest and open paths of construction, meaningful change. If anyone would like to voice their concerns, the time is now. Talk, Antonov, and Penhart exchange glances. Normally I'd consider an innocent gesture. Knowing what I know, I roll my eyes. A stick or a carrot, Talk? What made you break and sell out your compatriots? How much do you really know? If not, Quidar, may I? He steps into the middle of the room and clears his throat theatrically. First, Let me plainly state that the conclusion I'm going to present is by no means my own achievement. It's the result of tireless investigation conducted by a talented kindred I won't name here. A telling glance at Torque's direction serves as a certain example of why he refuses to call them by their names. And of course, Julie Sadowski, whose ceaseless groundwork over the past few nights served as a foundation of your findings that are revealed here. Thank you, Julie. It's not the first time he sets out to oversell my achievements. As a sheriff, my role is mostly representative. I spent the last few days overseeing the celebrations in Elysium, making sure no harm would befall anyone present. Luckily, no one did. Looks like the prince's dedication to move forward with the events was a correct one. And for that, we should extend our thanks to Godard, and let us overlook our guests to a degree. I managed to convince a key ally that diplomatic action is the only way forward. No matter how wrong-headed the enemy can be, we can still need avenues to negotiate and communicate. I'm curious how Tamak would react looking at him like a corporate bastard designing the future order, dismissing the potential for change that lies in unrest. No wonder she dumped him. Spare us the empty platitudes and let's Godard move on. I don't have all night for this. Right, I'll be concise. Douglas Boss Callan's remains were found in his office by his ghouls first thing in the evening. The first kindred to confront it was another Arch Baron, Torque presented here. A mysterious book would refer to the circumstances of Callane's death as a classical closed-room mystery. The metal door, locked from the inside, served as the sole way of entering in. There's no murder weapon, no useful testimonies, no evidence there was or how to put it together. Barely circumstantial at the best. Oh, nice, we got animation. Little animation scene here. That's what's left for a hell of a puzzle. One where the answer couldn't be approached by using the tried and tested Kua Bon. We are presented with poorly timed power upheavals, a tense situation where a long-planned celebration was in danger. Suddenly, all of us were faced with an uncertain future. Everyone benefited, yet nobody did. No one was especially fond of Callane, but it's not like anyone seemed particularly keen on removing him from the equation, especially at this time. For a moment, we were unsure. For a moment, we were unsure that this was the beginning of an offensive part of the Camarilla. We started wondering how violent the retaliation should be. And as for us, we were momentarily convinced that the Anarchs were plotting to blame us for their own internal power struggle. A tense situation resolved only thanks to skillful and swift diplomacy. Dare I say, yet another victory for our talented prince. Julie made sure to examine all contacts Callane might have had in his last days. In both sects, her efforts were tireless, and only rarely misguided. He had to spit out the last one biting remark, didn't he? Ah well, he's probably just covering his ass. But as exhausted as they might have been, they only served to muddy the possibilities, not to explain them. Callane had a lot of enemies, but they were most of infiltrating kinds of enemies who anyone could have. Folks who barely even thought of him anymore. In other words, no one really had particularly interest in getting rid of him because they could always simply work their way around him. Just before last Christmas, he even witnessed the first ever successful First Light raid against his extremely profitable blood trade supply lines. The lone ace up his sleeve, downright shady ability to perfectly maneuver around vessel SI activities gone, Kai's decline was apparent to all, and the domino effect made his empire slowly crumble. Up until recently, he's done a marvelous job at keeping the time and getting away with murder, but suddenly all of the prison spotlights were on him. The recent stories, what we all hear about, depict a depressed, downright manic recluse lashing out at anyone struggling with utter failing to fit into the new reality he found himself in. A closed room, no evidence, struggling a lack of strong whodunits, the corpse being found in the very early evening hours. The conclusion was simple. Callane's final death was self-inflicted. Suicide, to put it in simple terms. Silence falls on the final room. Oh, so, wow. That really is the angle that they'll be pushing, isn't it? Let's hear it, Sheriff. I'll explain. It's not an independent detective who first sets me out on this theory. Only last night. There was no suicide note of any kind, of course, but the message our recently departed has sent might not have necessarily been a verbal one. The particular thing was positioned on the body. It was like an arrow pointing towards something noticed. It appears to be the last thing Khan saw in his own life was a portrait of Lord Calastrine, the second Marquess of Londonderry, which is conventionally where Calain was born. To most, he was a vile traitor, heartless, a support of all disdain, and the main threat against rebellion of the Irish have gone through, successfully in all ways, but those that matter were to his people. Some called him a tragic figure, holding together selfish allies against a common threat, always fighting for painful and unpopular compromises, ruined by overwork, sickness, and poor public speaking skills. Not hard to see Douglas Calain would empathise. Polite snickers, indeed, especially when you realise the sickness in his blood, his failure, the hatred from his own people, the growing paranoia led him to commit a dramatic suicide within his own four walls. Ah, I see. This assumption is, instead of stabbing oneself to death with a knife or a pen, he decided to let the sun embrace his warmth. Calain's face burned into the eyes, a poetic final death. It's not a closure we have wanted, but probably the best explanation for his motive. But we're going to get. Does anyone follow? A heavy silence fills the room. No one speaks except for Prince Panhard. To me, this is all perfectly understandable, agreeable, and most importantly, it fits the man I've come to understand over the last 2 decades. Constant murmurs resonate through the room. Agreed, and I might add, there's some irregularities in the handling of the crime scene. Vanarch leaders finding suggestions Calain's resentful ghouls were to blame. Folks have been really happy to see him dead, is all I'm saying, and they went overboard with the celebrations. They've all been interrogated, though. Yes, I've received the results of intel, and it's done nothing to change my mind that the depictions of Calain's state of mind only serve to support the suicide theory. It is my suggestion that we all announce these findings to our respective communities, first thing tomorrow night. Sounds reasonable. And I think this concludes the meeting. Let's the Keepers of Asylum do the honours. No time wasted, huh? Alright. Does anyone have anything to add? Any questions asked? Take your time. Silence. I look at everyone just sitting it out in perfect agreement. Congrats, everyone. Congrats, us. We've achieved a perfect victory. No loose ends, no rocking the boat, no nothing. Makes you want to puke. How many times of them contributed to the final report? How strongly does Kodar believe the shit running from his mouth? He's always been a camera loyalist, a fanatic even. But, Miss Julie, any final statements? This is it. Now or never. If anyone can blow this pathetic charade wide open, it's me. But there's no coming back from this road. And it has a cost. I spent all my life and unlife socially climbing, and the sunk cost fallacy is kicking in. Challenging them might be the only way to ever make it out of here. Challenging them might be the only way to making it out of here, of the pit, I mean. On the other hand, maybe this will be the time I'll head into no, kill my ego, at least temporarily. Shut up the voices of elders screaming in my head. Betray my La Sombra instincts. Make all the ghosts go away and figure out something no matter how scary it might be. Do I dare? Or maybe I don't. I don't feel like there's an incredible prize to be won, waiting for right in front of me. If I just dare to take out this revolver with a single bullet I have hidden on me, and invite everyone here for a crazy game of Russian roulette. But I also get this foreboding gangster movie feeling, like this is the scene where the future mobster could have gotten out, but he didn't. In the end, did Calain think of all the splendor of the golden era was worth the pathetic end? It's like the two selves are battling for dominance inside me. One of them has to die, one of them has to live. Honestly, it's a flip of the coin. I reflect on the kindred I've met, lessons I've learned, choices I've made over the past few nights to make a decision, and then feel like I'm simply following the way I conducted the investigation to the logical conclusion. I respond, no, nothing. Kadar's done an excellent job of summarizing the case. I'm assuming this is based on all the traits you pick up. Personally. Barely detectable tension there disappears. This is the first time they might have had to reckon with something I said, but luckily for them, it turns out they won't. Well, looks like that's all, folks. Yes, looks like it. Excellent. Might I go with you down then? Places to be, kindred to see. Took the words right out of my mouth. You can see it in some of their faces. Everyone is happy. Samara, would you ask her to talk out? Me and Thomas will appease Mr. Payne for destroying the sanctity of Elysium. Right. This certainly. Right this way. Tomorrow night we'll be back to enemies, of course. Of course. Isn't that just what you want to hear, Addison? Oh, spare me the condolences, Helene. During the commotion, I'm approached by Kodar. He looks me in the eye and makes a show of exhaling deeply. I have to go and see everyone back safely now, but thank you for not pulling a stupid trick. I really appreciate it. Who do you think I am? Someone else, and I apologize for that. Sometimes you just see something and completely misinterpret it. You think about how to handle the future, particularly Kai's issue, tomorrow, alright? If I'm here tomorrow... He pats me on the shoulder and walks and takes it back and with a short, awkward smile. See you then. Everyone slowly scatters, but I just sit there, keeping an eye on the contact with one person here I have some unfinished business with. The hole should have its doors closed now, but nobody's considered it's weird that I'm staying. After all, the only person that is to accompany me is the Keeper of Elysium. Aren't they a happy bunch? All ends well. All well ends well. People are getting nervous. Like you really had some good cards to play. You're a poker player? Occasionally. It's a very soliciting thing to do. Played with Jennifer Tilly once. Must be easy to give a poker face with, you know. I know. It helps. Does help. You do it. And do you seem to know a lot about the cards other people... Do you seem to know a lot about the other cards people are holding? Like all games, poker does not share some principle. Like all great games, poker does share some principal lessons and necessary skills sets in real life. Take out another smoke. The conversation is bringing the tension back, like two fencers, carefully looking at a hole in each other's defense. I found a file about you in Kaiser's car. Seems like he's worried about you. The only unpredictable variable in his equation. I see. That's one card I did not predict you drawing. Speaking of not predicting, when I was waking up tonight, I didn't expect a good friend would provide me into coming here. Who might have that been? Not a lot of people in this room have indications to act friendly towards me in any way whatsoever. Sure looks like someone made a risky play. Even great players make dangerous plays sometimes. You know why? No idea. Boredom. It's boredom that gets to you. Even when you love the game, there's always this fear that it might turn into a perfectly predictable series of optimal plays. Time to make a play that might not seem optimal at the moment, then a direct attack. You're not really Catherine Weiss, are you? I don't know who else I could have been. Let me phrase it differently. You are not Elsetka the Wise, the Agatha of Prague, a Bruja Eldar causing turbulences all over the world, are you? She laughs. That file must have been pretty thorough. Kaiser knows what he's doing. That's why I'm afraid of what he might do to me to get revenge. Right. Rightfully so. Maybe you'll help him out in exchange for a favor. Snuff out La Sombra Meddler, strike a partnership, promise to keep each other in check. If that was a joke, it wasn't very funny. And just so you know, I've done making precautions. It was a bluff, honestly. I'm expecting more of a reaction. Kaiser's documents, did they mention about Ulverstar? They said that you were born as Helen Oblar, was unlucky enough to immigrate to New York City at a perfect age, and with a pretty accent approximating a searcher's, honestly explains a lot. Kodar had me that Allison once organized a blood hunt against Catherine Senchka. God, sorry, these words are hard. That she was both a liability and too entwined with the city's history to give it up on her. The solution, you, were deemed the best possible compromise of all the parties involved. The particulars aren't really described. It is theorized that blood magic was used, maybe flesh crafting. I do remember a few images. Her incompetent embrace, Christoph, the man who caught me, apologizing that the others broke my jaw, as if he wasn't to blame. Violent mind brainwashing. But that's done. What done is done. I might not be a Centric of the Wise, but I'm definitely Catherine Weiss now. I feel so good about the situation as I possibly can. She's a rooting Batman, and you're the fun-loving Bruce Wayne? Zorro and Diego de la Vega. Something like that. A dietitian who sleeps a lot and parties a lot. Only has to do something unpleasant from time to time. Do you hate her? Sometimes, but I mostly pity her. I've come to accept my fate, and I don't even feel much trauma when I see my draw in the mirror, the way she does. Some pig broke hers centuries ago. and she still reviles their soul every time she catches a glimpse of her own face. All that power, all that reach, all their appearances, still not enough. Don't get me wrong, but is there a point to all these questions? Oh, there definitely is. I think it was reading that fire that made me ultimately decide against turning this investigation upside down. Was it now? An immigrant from Eastern Europe coming to New York City, taking the position she was always expected to find herself in, is molded into something who no longer is herself. The story struck a chord. I felt like you were maybe, even so slightly, pushing me towards following your way, to lose myself in a position of considerable power. I could see Julia Salkovic sharing Hannah Albar's fate, and to be honest, it scared the shit out of me. Catherine shakes her head. Funny. Ostad is 50 kilometers away from Poland's border. I know. I think I've been there once when I was a kid. Parents love travel. Who doesn't? She takes my smoke, turns back and takes a deep drag and returns it to me. All of these long-established organizations, with time, their practices always did degenerate. Start draining everything out of the participants, turn into a cycle of abuse aimed at one another in particular. But the funny thing is, if the victims aren't allowed to feel the positions they can perpetrate the abuse. They feel the abuse is aimed specifically at them. There's no winning move here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think. You'll make an excuse for yourself? She desperately tries to stop, but she laughs, sounding like a bit like a harpy scream, but it's strangely endearing. I take a drag on my cigarette she took from me earlier. My inner grade schooler is excited and informs me that's an indirect kiss. Oh my god. Let's walk outside. I need to close up shop. Dawn is almost here, and well, we still need to talk about how to get you out of Kaiser's grasp. I nod and follow her to the streets. So I hear you've been living with a human. Yeah, it didn't work out. Oh, and why is that? I don't know how this is. Do I dare call this sisterly bond come to happen? I know it can't last beyond tonight, but I'm savoring every second. Turns out she's been single wife femaling me. I don't follow. I come out, I find her wearing my clothes, smoking my cigarettes, pretending to be me, the creepiest thing in the world. So, you find that pretending to be someone else is the creepiest thing in the world. I see how it is. Oh, piss off, that's a low blow. Why would she do that? I like also her name's changed now. No idea. I just yelled at her and saw her running out. She probably is back home now. I hope. No, I don't. I don't know. Look, I know it looks bad, but maybe you should just, ask her why she did it and make an informed decision. What are you talking about? That would be reasonable. I don't do that. She loses herself for a moment, visibly torn whether or not to tell me something. This might just be a Cedra speaking, but I was thinking about you two and Carthage. Of course, it's a brouhaha in Carthage. Everyone's arguing with her about her name. Some people claim it's too much of historical baggage. It's a myth. It didn't work. It's still vampires take advantage of humans. But still, it's a beautiful dream. And you two are like the embodiment of that. You mean the apocryphal story where Carthage was not destroyed because Romans were greedy for land, but because kindred and kind coexisted in harmony. It's a pretty deep cut, How long ago were you embraced again? I've been reading a lot to catch up. Then a journalist slash former copywriter in me still refuses to die. Huh. Again, it might be well, essentially speaking, sending you to die for a pipe dream, but that's the best option I can think of to get my mind away from the goal in mind. I'm listening. Head for the anarch-free state of California. Look for a man named Giles. If you're alone, you might have to prove yourself. If you're with your friend, you might have a little less. Giles. I need to look. So I'm just looking to see if this is a canon character. No. Sadly, it doesn't seem like that. There is a Sombro of last name guards, but he's like an elder from France. Sorry. Oh, I'm back. Guys, if you succeed, you'll be able to fight for the noble cause of establishing New Carthage. It's hopeless, but no matter how tough Aquidar puts on, still better than waiting for Kaiser to act. Might as well give it a shot and then see what's next. Thank you. Don't thank me, you idiot. I'm sending you to the West Coast to die, just so you're not here to blabber about me to Kaiser, and so that I can please my boss. Now scram, the sun's almost up. Sure, thank you. Nevertheless, even if you just piss off, even if just to piss you off some more. Anything else I should know? Don't exactly know how to practice you are. Not even Father Leonard knows. But in an hour of peril, keep St. Jude, the patron of desperate cause. Sorry, St. Jude is a... If you have not played Redemption, St. Jude is a common figure throughout it. It's the necklace of the saint that Christoph, while he's human, finds inside as Zamisi's lair. After killing Zamisi, he gives it to the nun that he's very much in love with, but can't be together because she's a nun and he's a crusader. After he's embraced, it becomes a symbol of Christoph and etc. I forget their love, the nun and her love for all of it. I'm not religious, I mean, really, but in my darkest hour, someone told me to keep him in mind, and maybe I wouldn't be here if he did. That's Christoph. Yeah, I know of St. Jude. In happier times, Mum used to joke that he was a patron saint of her sex life. I see. Follow Catholic guild survivors, huh? The classic Eastern European upbringing. I'm not admitting to anything. Stay safe, Frida, and thank you. See you again someday, Julie. Although, probably not. I wave at her, the first and probably last time, and leave Elysium behind. Hey. I'm sitting on my bed. It's obvious she was crying before, but it's trying her best to hold it up. Where were you? Finishing my big investigation, she sniffs. How was it? I fucked it up, big time. Didn't even put up a fight. Don't tell me you were expecting anything different. I did, actually. Used to be a shining example of investigating journalism. Maybe I felt comfortable being an example. There's a wince on her face, proves that he got to her. I'm not happy with who I am. Jesus, you're really copying me in every damn respect, aren't you? Fuck you, I'm being serious. I know, I'm not trying to be an asshole, or rather trying not to be an asshole. We really are two leeches who got stuck on each other, huh? Like two two-person human centipede loops, or something. An Ouroboros, or a Mobius strip. I get lost in my own metaphors. I take another smoke and slowly decide what to say. You're extremely good-looking, kind, endlessly energetic. You've got a steady job as an artist, and an even steadier influx of cash. Why do you want to be someone else? You're extremely good-looking, clever, talented as fuck, immortal, and eternally young? But you still have a horrible, deep well of self-loathing within you for some godforsaken reason, and it fucks me up every time, as much as it does you? Probably. Yeah, I get it. Single white female. It was an impulse. It was the first time I ever did it. I swear I didn't know what got into me. But that timing was just fuck. Maybe I just wanted to see if I could be a better you than you. I don't know. Maybe I need therapy, and I'm tired of looking for the kind of therapy that feels like it works and it's not just brainwashing me. She might be lying, but I don't believe she's lying. I choose to believe she's not lying. What do I have to lose? I think I want to give it one more shot. She raises her head. Do you? Yeah, I think I do. There's one condition, though. She shoots me a cold look. What condition? I told you I fucked up my investigation. But not how badly. Well, looks like I'm no longer safe in NYC. I need to run first thing tomorrow evening. The only way I know how is a bunch of loons living in the West Coast who are trying to bring back a utopia where humans and vampires could coexist. It's probably more dangerous than staying here, to be honest. Not to mention how dangerous it could be for you. And I haven't even figured out how we're going to get here safely, but yeah. I'm tired of sitting on my ass, collaborating with monsters. This is the first page of my second chapter. That's a lot to take in, I know. But I think I'm in. I know I'm in. You got a future, you got rich parents, you don't have to do this. In case you missed it, having rich parents is like a goddamn, I don't know, original sin in my book. I don't want to cost them. I don't want to coast on their money. I want to try doing something that fucking matters. Are you certain? As certain as I'll be as certain as I am in the deep sea exists, that's good enough for me. I'm off to sleep. Sun's probably already up. I'll pack your clothes. What for? Are you planning on unleashing Dark Dakota on me again? Don't say anything. As I said, I'm trying not to be an asshole. It's a process. ... The day went by. When I woke up, just like in the other night, that was the first surprise. Dakota followed through with a plan was for seconds. We're leaving the sea. I don't know about her, but I'm kind of hoping it will burn the moment we leave. Fuck all of these out-of-touch psychotic assholes who murdered Colleen and pied his grave all week. Fucking opportunists who couldn't even seize the moment and do what had to be done. Fuck this Temple of Maimon where truth is impossible to find. Fuck the Bronx, fuck Brooklyn, fuck Queens, fuck Staten Island, fuck Manhattan in particular. Okay, I'm done. I'm probably gonna stop at motels, drink from truckers and hitchhikers and whatever. Exciting. We'll be like a pair of serial killers prowling America's highways. Remember, Near Dark, the nomadic vampire movie? Of course I do. Is that what you're planning on doing in the Midwest? Maybe, maybe not. We'll improvise. It just hit me. Won't the motels and such be closed because of the virus though? Shit, I don't know. I didn't think of that. Maybe you should have robbed a bank and paid the security system goons to smuggle us to West Coast. Ah, whatever. It might be fun. Remember, you're the one who's paying for the evenings. I don't want to expose myself to anything, and I don't want to expose anyone to anything. I've seen enough shit stalking online about the exodus of New Yorkers who are probably spreading that thing all around the country right now. Gotcha. We should wash the car, I think. And we'll be disinfecting yourself before every time we touch. Okay, that's just a bit being freaky. And maybe you should wear a mask. Nope. It's the land of the free and home of the brave, I guess. Hey, yeah? Do you love me? Of course I do. For now, at least. I still don't know if I love her. Or if I can even love anyone for that matter. I'm a fucking monster after all. I don't even know if we'll exist next month. The prospects are not looking good. Although I can't see myself in the rearview mirror right now, I still remember the image of leaving the sea, somewhat melancholy and somewhat hopeful forever. And maybe the meaning of this image can be clarified with this time, or maybe I'll just be forced a more positive description on it. That's what I'll believe. No matter what happens, even if I'm in an ocean of blood lies before us, I'll make this a cherished memory. Whatever possible salvation still remains for me, it probably lies in the eyes of another. So those are the two New York games, visual novel things. We're gonna sit through them. This is kind of needed for Courage of New York, because Courage of New York finishes abruptly, and this wraps up the loose threads of practically everyone's stories, which is a positive, because it means it's a lot easier to like get invested and stuff. I'm assuming there's a slightly more, I like melancholy bittersweet ending. I'm assuming if you distrust the Camarilla, have a positive attitude and stuff like that, you get her actually standing up for herself, which would be interesting to see, but I'm not gonna play through that, you know. Sorry. sorry. Okay, cool. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, Zodala. That's my fault. Anyway, that is Shadows in New York. I don't know what we're going to do next week because I've kind of run out of what the Darkness games I can play. But we'll figure out something. Until next time, hope you guys have a lovely day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Sunday. Until then, goodbye. And hopefully my back is not in pain then. Goodbye and see you guys then.